starting the stream. Yo, guys, what's going on? I'm very appreciative of y'all tuning in for this first debut podcast of Lush, Louisville. You know, I peeped the UK Go Cats. You know, what's the mask? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. So this podcast is, specifically based around me interviewing different creatives all around Louisville. People that I know and some people that I don't know. But my very first guest today on the debut show, one of my good friends and a very longtime friend, and probably one of the most creative and talented people that I've ever been around. Funny as hell. You already know. People who know him, you already know. And so that's the basis of the show, and it's going to be a weekly thing. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we were having earlier. We still learning some things, but that's just how it goes. So. Guys, without further ado, let me introduce to you Geron Hurst. Get on in here, buddy. You already know. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Kev? You doing all right?
Good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Social distancing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, what you doing without that?
Yeah, take a shot real quick. But now, how you been doing, Kevin? You been all right?
Man, I've been good. Just enduring this quarantine, you know.
Can't fucking breathe with this mask on, but, it's okay.
It's a little uncomfortable with my headphones. My headphones keep pulling it below my nose.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and join into your live real quick, too.
Yeah, let me add you in. So we on. What's up, Marshall? What's up, Jake? Let me, what's going on here? I'm trying to see some live. It says I'm supposed to be live.
So I'm gonna go ahead and set this on yours real quick.
What is this? It's YouTube.
Oh, so it's going to be an echo the entire time. That's a little weak. Actually,
if you're in... Wait, what's going on with this stream?
You see me over here, and you can see me over here, and you can see me over there, and you can see me over here, and you can see me over there.
All right, here goes the live stream. Yeah, all right, there we go. All right, bet. So let's get in these comments here. If you're on streaming live here, let's see, where do I even see these comments? There's so much to learn here. Bro, there should be a way that I can.
Wow, actual beer. Yeah, it's a little something. We try to do as hard as we can,
Absolutely.
I try to not get too drunk during the day, but, I'm an alcoholic, so it's whatever.
This is a special day.
Every day's a special day to me, Kevin. I live life on the edge. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't do this. I can't breathe. If you get corona, I'm sorry, but I just can't fucking breathe.
There we go. All right, so we got Geron's Instagram up on the YouTube live. If anybody's seeing... Yeah, here, what's the echo coming from?
It's definitely coming from us both recording at the same time. If you want me to get it off live, I can.
No. Just turn it down. Turn yours down a little bit.
I turned it down as low as I possibly could.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, that's probably better now. Yo, what's up, Holly? How you doing?
It's all right. You're just going to hear a slight echo. Just ignore it. Unless you want me to get off.
Well, because it's probably going to be in the stream.
Okay, actually, yeah, you're right. I'm going to go ahead and get off then. I'm going to just get off.
I appreciate it. But you're still in my life.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to get off.
All right, excuse us, everybody. We're new to this. All right, so Geron, tell us about yourself, man. Where are you from? What's your background story here? What we dealing with?
Okay, so for the people that don't know, a lot of people think I'm from J-Town for some reason. I want to just clarify. No, I am not. Okay, I'm from Beach Terrace. I grew up in the projects, and then after that, I kind of spread all over the place. I've been around a bunch of whites. I've been around a bunch of blacks. But ultimately, I've been all over the place. But I am from the hood, so don't try me.
There you have it. Geron is from the hood. Geron is from the hood.
What about you, Kevin? Where are your whereabouts?
Man, I was born here, right here in Louisville, Kentucky. About
in this exact house.
Yeah, no. Actually, it was like 5 minutes from here.
Okay.
And well, I was born in Norton Healthcare downtown, and then they took me to the house, and then from there, now I'm here. But so growing up in Louisville, Geron, where were you hanging out mostly? Where'd you go to school? What was your...
Okay, I was mostly a West End baby, if I were to say so myself. I spent most of my time out in the West End or out in Shively. And so, school-wise, I went to multiple different elementary schools just because we moved a lot. Middle school, though, I went to Farnsley, and then for high school, I went to Manual High School. And so, I mean, it was smooth. I liked Manual. It was a lot of pricks there, but there were also a lot of Kevins there, too. There was some cool guys and whatnot. That's actually where me and Kevin met, for you all that don't know.
Yes.
But,
I got a story about that.
yeah, okay, so you go and tell that story now if you're ready.
I remember it's not an eventful story at all now that I think about it, but you were in my homeroom class because you were all 4 years because your last name is H and mine's J.
Yeah.
And you came. It was the first day of freshman year, and you came in and we're sitting in the back, and yeah, this is really not an eventful story at all, but that's just the first. And I remember looking back, and you were sitting at a table by yourself because there was.
You know what it was? I didn't fuck with people.
Nobody.
Let me clarify this, okay? Because people said that I was intimidating as fuck in high school, and that I was a real like loner,
What's up,
and I
Chris?
didn't really, talk to people that much and whatnot. Truthfully, what it was is, I just realized that I don't know, I was just different, and like a lot of y'all was just weird. Y'all were either weird or y'all was just too fucking smart. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
I hated those Asian kids at school. They just looked like they just fucking knew everything.
Well, a lot of them
Sorry
did.
to talk to them. I don't know. It was a little weird environment there, so I had to get accustomed to. I had to get acclimated before I just started talking to everyone there. That's truthfully what it was.
Yeah, it was. Dude, it's crazy. That was like almost 9 years ago.
I want to tell you one of my favorite memories of Kevin. My funniest memory I have of Kevin is one day, my senior year in high school, we were going to the Male Omega football game, and around this time, I had probably smoked weed maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. And Kevin decided, he was like, you know what, Geron, we are actually going to smoke. And we went to Steak and Shake afterwards. That was the funniest part. We went to Steak and Shake afterwards with 2 of our friends. And at Steak and Shake, this man Kevin laughed for 15 minutes straight without saying a single word. That is the funniest memory I will ever have of Kevin in my life. That is hilarious.
Yep. Well, but yeah. So I do remember that though. But what was I gonna say about? I remember you telling me about the first time that I told you that I played basketball. And then a few years later, you were telling me when I told you that, you were like, yo, man, Kevin, when you first told me that, you were like, I just looked at you and I was like, man, I was smashed in basketball.
He's like, you don't give off that basketball look.
I know.
You don't give off that, I'm going to give you a bucket look. And so I was like, boy, like, what do
That's
you
my
mean
Euro.
basketball?
You don't want my Euro stuff.
But you definitely can play basketball. I definitely learned that in PE.
Yeah. No, that was good times, Emmanuel. Good times, Emmanuel. Shout out to everybody who... We ain't got anybody on the live right now.
No, that's
we
all right.
ain't got nobody in our chat
That's
right
all right.
now.
They gonna see it.
Yeah,
they
they're
gonna see it.
But yeah, shout out to everybody who went to Manual. It's been a minute. We gotta, you going to that reunion?
How long is that? Because I feel like I
have
haven't got
no
my shit
idea.
together yet.
I
And
have
it's like,
no
if
idea.
it's a 10-year reunion, what are we like? We're on like we're halfway there.
And I think it's a 5-year thing. It's definitely not 10 years. I'm not. It's gonna have to be 10 years for me.
No, if it's a 5-year reunion, I'm not going. I can't go there and Urban just be shit talking everybody who's there.
Dude, I didn't even think of that.
It's just Urban and Eli just shitting on everybody who's there.
Dude, I heard Eli's been
Yo, he's living it up.
he's
living his best life.
modeling for rap.
He's living his absolute
He's modeling
best
for
life.
Raph Simmons.
Very proud of him. But yeah, no. And then the people tell me, yeah, Jerome, what are you doing? Making funny money? Making jokes?
You are though. I saw you flexing in after the second show I went to. All that money you had collected from the show.
Oh yeah, I definitely try to get paid a ticket now as much as I possibly can. But no, like they're doing very well for themselves. I'm very proud of them and whatnot. I think you finally have your first comment.
Oh yes, my first comment. My buddy Mitch, what's going on? This kid, he went to school with me at Middle Tennessee. He lives in Boca Raton, Florida now.
Boca Raton.
Let's get in here. What's going on, Mitch? What you doing? Oh my, he said, "Where's Kevin James coming in?" He did that on purpose. It's with an N. But yeah, so what are some of your focuses right now? First of all, how are you? Okay, tell us about the different. I mean, you're talented in different ways, and you kind of like dabble in different creative things. Like, tell us about where'd you start, and what did you start doing?
Okay, for me, I had always been drawing whenever I was growing up. I was always an artist and whatnot. But for people who aren't into astrology, I'm gonna tell you something quick, just because I've learned a lot myself recently here. I'm a Gemini, and most Geminis, they like to dabble in a lot of different things at the same time. They're very curious. You know what I mean? They're very adaptable, and so for me, I like to experiment in all forms of art. I think I can do proficient work in all forms of art. Like I'm a very good cook, and then I'm also an artist, and then like I make music, and now I do stand-up comedy, and before I was producing music as well, and so. Truthfully, to me, it's like I just like to express myself any way I can with any form of art. I think art is a great way to understand who you are as a person, and a great way to like show others who you are as a person as well. You know what I mean? Like even writing, I like writing a lot as well. And so, yeah, for me, really it's about whatever gets the bitches, you know, whatever gets them in my phone, whatever helps them come my way.
But is that really what you do it
No.
for? Okay, all right.
Not in the slightest. No, it's really just a form of expression, man. Like I look at painting as like a way of like therapy for myself. Like a lot of my paintings, like I paint a lot of portraits that are about myself and whatnot, and like about how I feel. Just to have a greater understanding of how it is that I feel whenever I don't really know how I feel. You know what I mean? And then with like music and whatnot, I think it's a great way for me to like tell my own individual story while also relating to others around me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people go through the same shit that I go through. And then with like cooking, I mean, I just like to appeal to the senses, and I love some great food. And I remember growing up, I used to watch the Food Network channel all the time, and that was like porn to me. And so,
No,
yeah.
Watching that show makes me hungry, man.
Yeah, man, I love to cook. I love to write some stand-up comedy jokes and whatnot. I just love connecting with people in general. I'm a very social person. And so any way that I can do that, whether it be with me painting a picture or me telling a joke or me cooking you a delicious bomb meal, you know, it's whatever it is that I could possibly do.
Absolutely. I feel that, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, Geron, check out his Instagram. And have you posted a lot of your paintings on your...
No, I haven't. And look, for the people that ask me about that all the time, really what it is that I have really bad ADHD. I have really bad ADHD.
Really? Tell us about it, Geron.
In addition to being a very curious person who likes to dabble in a lot of different things at once, it's very hard to time manage and make time for the things I want to do as much as I possibly can. But I do paint as often as I possibly can. The thing is, though, I just don't finish work as often as I should. And so that makes it hard for me to post a lot of it on my Instagram because I don't want to give people a bunch of work in progress pictures of the same artwork over and over and over again. Like, oh, so when are you going to finish it? When are you going to finish it?
That's a good point. Now,
you know what I mean?
I recently, I guess really more within the last year, like when I first started making beats, it was like, you know, I would, you know, just be chilling by myself and then like, oh man, this beat's hard, you know, like this is dope. And then it would just be either like a little idea and then I would just go back and listen to it over and over and over and then nothing would happen with it. But like really, I've learned that you just have to like, it's almost like when it starts to seem like work to me, it's like, oh, I need to mix this beat and I need to finish it and send it out. And it's just like when I think like that, it's almost just like it makes me not want to do it. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm going to learn from it, and you know, I'm only going to get better. So I just push myself to sit down and finish it. And it could be if I'm mixing or with anything, like even going to work. You know, going to work at Kroger. It's not just with making beats, but that's been the biggest thing is sitting down, finishing a beat, and really being efficient with it, while also not being put in a box to where. What's your experience with? Like I was gonna say, putting yourself in a box where you're like burnt out.
I look at myself and I try to make sure that I'm ever changing and ever adapting, because the way I see it is that if I was already my most optimal or ideal person, I would already be living the lifestyle that it is that I want to live. You know what I mean? I live by two philosophies of either it's not your time yet or you're not applying enough pressure. And so I always look at it as I should be willing to change myself no matter what, because ultimately I feel more satisfied with living the lifestyle that I want to live than continuing to be the same person that I am right now. You know what I mean? I think I will be much more happy to understand that I got where I wanted to get versus I stayed exactly who I was. Because maybe it's necessary for people to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so whenever I get stuck in a rut as far as it's like maybe like writer's block or just like a lack of inspiration or a lack of creativity, I've never experienced a lack of creativity in any way, shape, or form. Really, I just smoke a little bit of weed and I'm fine. That's all it takes. Truthfully, it's like, I don't know. I just have so many different ideas. I have a great understanding of what I feel like people need to hear. And I just think there's a lot of stories that need to be told that haven't been told yet. You know what I mean? And so, especially like think about it now, like there's so much going on in the world right now. Like how could you not have something to talk about? How could you not have any type of inspiration from all the chaos that's going around everybody? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So how is the virus? Man, you're touching.
Man, I've been living it up since this virus been out. I think
Well, what have you been doing? What have you seen in Louisville, especially, that has been like, man, that's like what you've been seeing recently? How has it affected your creativity? Is the biggest.
I would say it's affecting my creativity. The main thing it's affected for me is that I can't perform my stand-up comedy shows right now. That sucks, but ultimately, though, I've been getting a lot of material from the things that have been going on around me. Truthfully, my life's been a movie, Kevin. I'm not going to lie to you.
Geron's life is a movie.
My life during quarantine has been an absolute movie. There's been nothing but just bottles and bitches and
I knew this was coming.
and a whole bonanza. And so
Bonanza.
No, but honestly though, this quarantine has made me think about a lot of different things. I feel like some things that bad happen for a reason, and I think there's a lot of things that we all can learn from this situation. Truthfully, I feel like this gives a lot of people a second to breathe, which is a great thing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people talk about how there's a lot of things that they want to do that they can't do because they don't have enough time to, and this really shows them on some. No, it's not that you don't have enough time to. You don't make enough time for it. You know what I mean?
You need to make more time.
Absolutely.
And again, sit down and just do it and make yourself do it.
And so, this quarantine for me has just really been a very eye-opening experience as far as understanding what it is I need to do as a person to get myself to the next step. But then also, I don't know, it helps me be more relatable with other people. Like, I think about all of my problems and I get very selfish, but I also think, like, you know, Geron, everyone's going through the same thing that you're going through right now, too. You know, I can't perform stand-up comedy, but Dwayne Sutton might not go pro. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Like,
he's
of course
pro.
he's gonna play
He's
again another
going
year
pro.
and whatnot. But like,
I
you get my
played with
point.
him and
Like,
Manuel, just to
yeah,
say.
yeah, you get my point. Though, there's a lot of different stuff that a lot of people are having to deal with right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a totally.
And so I just think it makes me a lot more empathetic, and it makes me just like sympathize with a lot of people that are going through a lot more than what I am. Because truthfully, I'm living great right now.
Yeah, I feel that. Yo, what's up, Nikki? How you doing? Say what's up. That's Nikki
Hey,
D'Ambrosio.
Nikki D'Ambrosio, how you? Hey, Nikki.
Shows the best support in the world. That's
Man,
my
for
girl.
sure.
That's my girl. But yeah, I was going back a little bit what we were saying earlier about what you said. You know, it's either not your time or you said something else, but
You're not applying enough pressure.
You're not applying enough pressure. I think that right now, a lot of people are realizing, me especially, like, I've really been a firm believer always in everybody's got a different path, and you know, it may just not be your time. But then again, may not be applying enough pressure. But right now, there's very limited pressure to be applied because just with the standards and the quarantine.
I don't think that's true at all. And the reason why I say that is that some people think that applying pressure is about applying or exerting yourself to finish something or do something or put yourself out there. Sometimes applying pressure could be preparation. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Kevin, you could have plenty of things that you're doing right now that are preparing you for when things open up to really have your foot on everyone's neck. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's really just about how you want to approach things. Everyone can make it seem like there's nothing I could possibly do to get to the next level right now. But while you're thinking that, there's somebody else who's thinking, no, like I'm definitely trying to make sure that I'm on top and that whenever this is over, that it is my last year being broke. You know what I mean?
There you
So
go.
it's
Yeah.
really just about how you approach things, honestly. Like, still me, like, I've been doing podcasts, I've been doing short films, I've been having parties, I've been getting bitches, I've been doing
Well,
whatever
you've been
it is.
having parties, Geron? What?
I mean, like, when I
Oh
say
my
parties,
gosh.
I mean, like,
gosh.
you know, we have a couple of your days over at the crib. You know what I mean? You get a bunch of bottles and I mean, kind of late.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. No, honestly, all of that, people don't realize this too, though. As a stand-up comedian, I still have to do things within my life in order to have things to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit in my house every day and quarantine. Well, I mean, I can, but I don't want to. Right? I can't sit around and do nothing and expect to have a lot of material to talk about. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And so it's like I have to live a very eventful life. I mean, not a superficial eventful life, but just an honest, eventful life in order for me to really have a lot of consistent things to talk about. I want to make sure that I always have new material and new things to talk about, and I want to show people that, you know, Geron's life really is a movie.
Okay. I feel that. Yeah. So you may not be. You're saying, kind of like you may not be directly doing exactly what your focus is.
Yeah, no, there's definitely
but
like people look at that. Okay, like for example, a lot of people can use this right now to get in a great mental space. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I think there are more people who are not mentally as strong as they should be than people that are. You know what I'm saying? I think that mental strength is something you have to consistently work on in order to get there. And it really takes you have to understand that you have to be able to look at things in a very negative light in order to have a full understanding of what it is that you need to change or what it is that you need to improve about yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so during this time, I know this is a great time to look in the mirror, look back at yourself, look about what things you want, what things like you need to learn about yourself, and like really just go on a deep mental journey. You know what I mean? I really encourage everybody to get very in tune with who they are as a person during this time where you're really just at home by yourself all day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's different things that you can come out with from this quarantine where it's like, I still feel like I'm in a better space than what I was before. You know what I mean? Whether it being financially, whether it being mentally, whether it just being like you pursuing what it is that you are really seeing after. You know what I mean? But that's just my own personal opinion.
That's interesting. People have so many different opinions, especially right now.
We got Avery in the live. Hey, shout out to Avery.
Yeah,
how you
what's
doing,
up,
Avery? I see you at O'Shea's every Saturday. Yes, Sirski. Yes,
Yeah,
Sirski.
that's right. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Julia? Hey, what's up? Hey, Nikki, Avery, and Julia have shown a lot of love and support on my Lush Louisville Instagram. Those are we go way back on them. And yeah, what was I saying about? Oh yeah, the with the quarantine. Had you heard of Zoom before the quarantine started?
You know what's crazy? I was working at this job called AmeriSave for about all of 5 or 6 days. And,
Tell us about it.
Pretty much what it was like a mortgage consultant job or whatever. I was on the phone as a CSS calling people, asking them about mortgages, whoop, 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 whatever. What people don't realize about me is I have ADHD. I have ADHD, and my mom smoked a lot of weed with me when I was a baby, and so I have a memory problem as well. But
maybe that's why you're so creative.
Exactly. But main thing is that my ADHD really makes it hard for me to sit in a space on a phone talking to somebody that's a stranger for a significant amount of time without having to get up and do something, right? And these people just very much so had me fucked up at this job, so I quit. But yes, to respond to your question, I have been on Zoom before, yes.
I had not, and my mom had her birthday was like the second week of quarantine. So my dad got all of her side of the family and all of his side of the family to do a huge Zoom call. Because you can have like up to, what is it, like it's probably more than 100 people in one video, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. No,
I'm pretty sure it's at least 100. Man, that's a lot of people. But we had like probably like 30, 40 people in one video. I mean, it was chaos because you have everybody's audio on and everybody's trying to hear it, but it was just funny. But that was the first time I'd heard of it. And then like, I guess it's because there's no, like, there must not be a video limit of who all you can have in the Zoom. But, you know, so if you, when it first came out, what's up, Mom?
There's James.
Mom's doing something in the laundry room. But when it first came out, I forgot what I was saying. Zoom, yeah. But it, you know, and it just blew up. I feel like everybody started using it during the quarantine. Oh, Mitch just said his cousin's about to have a Zoom wedding.
Mitch who?
My buddy in Florida.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Mitch, how? Where they getting married?
Wait, we got my boy Savvy being here tonight. Shout out to my boy Brian.
Yeah, he followed me the other day.
Sirski.
Who is that?
He's a good friend of mine. He makes music. That's the dude I was telling you about who was going to have a listening party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, hit my DM, bro. I'm trying to have you on the show for real. I got on his Instagram page when he followed me. He looks legit. Where's he record at?
I think he records with my friend DJ. He's also at Studio 400. But back to this interview. You got some more questions for me?
Yeah. So we were talking about Zoom. Yeah, I got some more questions about you. Speak on your comedy and your shows.
So I was actually very impressed with my first couple of shows that I had before. When I was doing shows at Zebra, prior to that, I was working and doing shows at the Comedy Caravan. But the hard part about that was that I wasn't able to perform as much as I wanted to. I was only performing maybe once or twice every month or so, maybe every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And they was only giving me like 3 to 5 minute sets, you know, which wasn't enough time for me to really get a chance to practice what it is I want to do and work on my craft.
Right.
And so I just wanted to try to take the time to myself to like kind of create my own opportunities. Luckily, I was able to meet this lady Jig that works works as a promoter at Z Bar, and luckily she was able to help me start doing some comedy nights there. It really just gave me a lot of control with it. She told me that I can really take control over the entire night, as far as like what comedians I want to have, what type of things I want to incorporate for the show, and I was very thankful for that. And yeah, it went really well. My first show, I didn't have a phone. I had plenty of jokes about how I didn't have a phone, but
I remember that.
it was very good. I remember I think the venue only holds 220 people, but we ended up having about 130 or 140 come out for the first show. And then we had another show, I think 2 weeks after that, and it was about 160 people there. I love the idea that I have now have a platform and a place to be able to connect with a lot of people and give people a different side of me that they don't always see. I hope to, whenever this quarantine's all over, I really want to open up a new chapter of comedy that I'm going to do, just because I like some of the comedy that I was doing before, but I just think it's different levels that I can take it. And truthfully, I just want to see, I feel like some people know me, but they don't know the real Geron. They don't get to see different layers of who I am as a person. Okay. And so with this new comedy that I'm going to do, I'm going to start trying to peel back more layers of who I am as a person and start trying to get a little more introspective and just, I don't know, talk about things that relate people more, and just try to find a lot of the different things that I can just do to like show my intellect and just show different sides of myself. I think people just only see hornball Geron sometimes, or just see like Geron the dude from the West End or whatever. You know what I mean? I just want to show them like there's different levels that I can take it, and different avenues and different ventures that I can go with my stand-up comedy.
So you've done it at Z Bar. Where else are you looking to perform?
Well, I mean, I've done it at Z Bar and I've done it at the Comedy Caravan, but I've also done stand-up comedy in Los Angeles. And that was a decent day. What happened out there, I mean, again, I'm a very unlucky person. My phone broke while I was in the airport. And so before I could even really get back to my hotel, I didn't have a phone. And I missed out on some of
the airport where?
LAX.
That's right.
Yeah, but no, like, my phone broke while I was out there, and I missed out on some of the shows that I was supposed to have. But one of the shows that I did have, the last show that I signed up for, I thought it was supposed to be a ladies' night, and turns out that it was LGBT night.
Oh yeah, you told this joke. Yeah.
Turns out that it was LGBT night. But honestly, I think the show still went well. It was a learning experience for me. They just didn't like a lot of the different jokes that I had. Some of them did, but like honestly, it wasn't even that large of a crowd for me to really have a understanding of. I don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I didn't let it bother me too much at all. But yeah, now I'm just working on writing as much material as I can and just seeing like what different levels I can take it, what different ways can I just learn to stand out as a comedian and see like, for example, Dave Chappelle, he's known as a person who's like able to cross a lot of different fine lines and still have people laugh. And
he's my favorite comedian.
Yeah, and that's why he's a lot of different people's favorite comedian, because he can really speak so much truth while still being able to make people laugh at it.
But how does he do that?
It's a thing in comedy called dodging lasers. What that means is if you're able to say something offensive and someone laughs, you just dodged a laser. You know what I mean?
If nobody laughs?
Then you did it.
Okay, but what happens if you don't?
No one laughs.
You get booed off stage?
That's called not doing well. You know what I mean? Okay. If people aren't laughing at your show, you're not doing well. There's been plenty of times, and like people think that dodging lasers is like a you have to be talking about very deep water stuff to do that. There's been literally times where I've had just a bunch of white girls on my show, and I say something about how white girls aren't shit, and then it doesn't work out that well. You know what I mean? I didn't dodge that laser, and so I've just learned that.
Yeah, but they still come to your show, right?
I mean, I'm Geron, so they're gonna come. Oh, but I mean, the thing is, though, that's not what I'm trying to. My point is, though, that's what he's known for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There are other comedians that are known for a lot of different other things, but I don't think that's what I'm going to be known for. Is like being a person that can push boundaries and whatnot. I think more so with my comedy now, it's going to be me being a more introspective person to really have people relate to the different mental spaces that a lot of people are in and whatnot, and like just have people relate to a lot of the different shit that other people are going through. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so. Yeah, no, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the opportunity to still continue to do what I do whenever things open up. Sometime here soon, I want to start trying to get into more auditions and whatnot, or even just get to the space where I'm able to like get a manager and start performing out of state or whatnot. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the goal, man. The goal is just to keep performing and hopefully have a tour or something of that nature.
Now, that's my buddy Alex.
That ain't no 6 feet. Here's the thing, man. My immune system is pretty impeccable. And I haven't touched Kevin since I've seen him, so I feel like he's gonna be okay. Come on, Kevin.
Sorry, but nah, yeah. So you're into music. Mm-hmm. You're making some songs.
Yeah, I've been making a little bit of music lately. I really just want to be the next Waka Flocka, but
I could tell in one of those songs that you had, it seemed very lit.
Wait. Someone just asked a question. They said, "How challenging is it to find auditions in Louisville for stand-up comedy?"
Good question, Julia.
Well,
Good question. Shout out to Julia.
Truthfully, I don't look for very many auditions at the moment, just because of things that are going on in the world. But truthfully, for me, I think while being in Louisville, it's more so about trying to create opportunities for myself rather than look for those. Like, for example, instead of me looking for auditions and whatnot, I've started to try to get into screenwriting, and I've been looking at master classes about independent filmmaking with Spike Lee and whatnot, and like learning how to like do things on my own versus trying to look for other people to like grant me opportunities or take advantage of those opportunities and whatnot. And so, I really encourage people to do that because like you learn after after creating your own platform, you get to start to understand. I really now have the ability to do way much more than I would have if I was just on someone else's platform, taking advantage of their opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, it's a difference between like being in a movie and the movie does well, and so you get fame because of the movie, versus being in a movie or making a movie and the movie does well, and now you have a platform because you just did it. It's a difference between being an actor that does well in a movie versus being Jordan Peele, who made Get Out, and now you're Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? Like you can be the person that like creates opportunities, and not the person that has to take advantage of them. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but like truthfully, auditions have not been very easy for me recently. It's one of those things like I just keep looking online. That's why I encourage people to try to get some sort of manager or some sort of representative, just because it puts a lot more validity and legitimacy in what it is that you're doing.
Now, did you have to audition for your shows at Z-Bar?
No, truthfully, what it was is that my friend Domdy, shout out to Domdy, he's a DJ, aka DJ Dixie Highway. I'll have to go check him out if I can.
Dixie Highway.
He did a lot of DJing sets at Z-Bar. And I was also doing hosting with him and hosting with Ronnie Luciano whenever he would have a couple of sets at Z-Bar. Shout out to Ronnie as well. And the promoter had seen me just doing a stand-up, making people laugh and whatnot while I was on the mic, while they were playing music and whatnot. And she just reached out to me and was on some, I think that you're very good at what you do. I just looked at your Instagram recently, and I think you're very funny. We want to try to incorporate, because I know they were trying to just make more money at Z-Bar. They were trying to incorporate something they could do on Mondays.
It's a nice place. I had never been there.
They're trying
before
to,
your show.
They were trying to figure out just some ways they could do something for Mondays and whatnot. And I just, we talked about the idea of having a stand-up comedy jam or just a stand-up comedy night and whatnot. And we just learned to expand on it and whatnot since the first two shows. Because I remember the first show, she only had a couple of tables off for maybe about 50 people, and I was like, that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough.
Geron said, "Do you know who I am?"
No, I mean, I hate.
Hey, there was a lot of people there.
It was a lot of people. It was. And
was
so
a lot of
now,
people.
like, since we have an understanding that we do have a following, do have people that are going to be there to want to see us do well, we're just trying to see how we can expand on that. We're thinking about very soon trying to have more music shows. We're thinking about possibly trying to have an intermission where we have a first show and a second show. We're thinking about possibly trying to do ladies' nights and men's nights and all things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But it's really just about just trying to get our foot in the door. And now that we're there, we're just going to see how we can expand on it. Pretty soon too, I want to try to see about trying to pay other comedians to come from out of state to perform there and headline, and then I go before them or anything of that nature. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I can definitely speak on what you were saying about Julia's question about the auditions in Louisville. Like, you got to make it for yourself, for real. I've been spending a lot of time learning about branding and marketing myself as a producer. Mm-hmm. And like, you got to build a following somehow. Mm-hmm. Like, I cannot tell you how many times, especially a lot of the kids I went to school with, I studied audio production at Middle Tennessee State, and there was a lot of producers there, a lot of very talented people too. Mm-hmm. And half the time I'd be like, "Yo, like, can I hear some of your stuff?
So I want to ask you a question real quick. Did you go to school with Tay Keith?
Yes, I did go to school with Tay Keith.
See, look, Kevin went to school with Tay Keith.
I did go to school with Tay Keith.
Tay Keith beats too hard.
I talked to him once at a tailgate, and he FaceTimed 6ix9ine right there in front of me. I'm not kidding, but 6ix9ine didn't answer. But what was I saying? Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, so branding and marketing. I put beats out. Well, recently I've been focused on trying to get this podcast ready. But I was putting beats out every day on my YouTube and my SoundCloud and BeatStars, and like I just put out a beat tape and on SoundCloud. And building a following is so important. But what I was saying about a lot of the producers at MTSU were like, "Well, I don't want to put my stuff out because I don't want it to get stolen." I'm like, okay, well, think about that, because first of all, if you're a producer, how are you going to get a following? Like, you can. So you send your beats out. Somebody records on your beat and doesn't tell you about it. Okay, you put your stuff on SoundCloud, YouTube. People SoundCloud to MP3, YouTube to MP3, and down. You would never know about it, but you're getting your name out
You
there.
know, how about you sue them first of all?
Well, you can
But-
if and even if it's
What people have to realize is that a lot of people let fear get in the way of their success.
exactly, and you have to build a following. You have to put yourself out there.
I think more so than even building a following, I think people have to learn to just be fearless. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very fearless person. I don't have any type of notion as to like what I'm going to be next. You know what I mean, or where I'm going to go. But like, I just try to make sure I don't let fear try to make decisions for myself as far as what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel
there are
that.
a lot of different important life decisions that people can make or want to make, but they don't because of fear. You know what I mean?
I feel that, man.
So,
that's why I'm doing all this.
Exactly.
That's why I'm putting my beats
so like, for
out.
example, people that want to put beats on YouTube, but they're scared that someone's going to take the idea, like, that's getting in the way of them being
That's
able
the
to build a
music
platform.
business.
Yeah,
In
literally.
general.
That's
In
art.
general.
No, that's not even mute. That's art. You don't think people steal my jokes and tell them to their friends? You know what I mean? Like, you don't think people steal Dave Chappelle's jokes?
Who would steal it? You would know.
No, you wouldn't, unless they're famous. That's the
Dave
whole
Chappelle
point.
is famous,
The person who steals a
but
joke.
everybody knows Dave Chappelle though.
The person who's... No, they don't.
I think
Not everybody knows who Dave is. So if I go up to your mom right now and I tell her a Dave Chappelle joke, she's gonna know that was Dave Chappelle. No.
True.
The whole point is though, you can't let stuff like that make decisions that's for what you want to do.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree. When people would say like, I don't want people to steal my stuff, I'm like, bro, your stuff is probably gonna get stolen maybe a few times, especially with beats in the music industry. That's just how it goes. And you know, if you're, I mean, I'll have to ask Tay Keith, how you know what happened with how if he ever had that experience or anything like that, you know. But man, you just gotta put yourself out there and, like you said, be fearless. That's a great great way to put it. Be fearless. So, good comedy clubs in Louisville. Enlighten us.
Truthfully, there's not really a lot of them. I'm gonna be honest. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Z-Bar seems cool.
The Z-Bar is not even a comedy club. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I turned it into a comedy club on Mondays. Truthfully, I'm sorry.
Geron's
Truthfully.
famous.
No, I'm not famous. I just did well, and I had some unexpected success.
Absolutely.
But I know there's the Cavalier. I know they have some different comedy clubs that are on Bardstown that are very good. The Comedy Caravan, I encourage everyone to go out to that one as well. But truthfully, I don't think there's a lot of different places. There's not really one place or space where a lot of people can go and do stand-up comedy or even practice the stand-up comedy. And that's what I want to change. I want to change in Kentucky and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as soon as I'm able to do that, it's just going to be one of those things where, I just want to open up a lot more opportunities and ideas for people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get people acclimated to the idea of being able to go out on a certain night and go and laugh. You know what I mean? Like, that was
What are good comedy nights? Like, is there like a...
I don't know. I think Mondays was a good day. I didn't really choose to do it on Mondays, but I thought Mondays was a good day because some people are off on Mondays. Some people don't have shit to do the next day. You know what I mean? Some people already... I don't know. You know what I mean? But... The thing is, though, I just want to get people used to the idea of even going out to comedy events in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool, yeah. So who are some other fellow comedians that you... Like, I know your buddy Jaquar, right?
Jaquar's funny without trying to be. That's not Jaquar. Jaquar's not really a comedian. He's more so just a goofy individual. But my friend Imran is very funny. He's a comedian as well. Shout out to Imran, by the way. I have a friend, Eric Kimbrough. He does stand-up comedy at Comedy Caravan. He's funny as well. There's a lot of different other people that I can speak for in Kentucky that are very funny as well. Some of my favorite comedians worldwide, though, I would say, is definitely Dave Chappelle. I'm a huge Cat Williams fan as well. I'm a huge fan of Mike Epps. I think Daniel Tosh is very funny. I think he is able to put humor into like some dark spaces sometimes. You know what I mean? And I like him too because like he makes very like racist or misogynistic but it's like he makes jokes that towards everyone, so you can't feel like he's like targeting a single group of people. You know what I mean? He's another person that crosses a lot of lines and whatnot as well. There's a lot of different comedians that I like in general. I like Martin Lawrence and DC Young Fly because they have a different type of stand-up where it's more active and more of a physical humor than it is a humor that comes from what they're saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just some funny individuals. But yeah, Chris Rock, he's funny as well. I think he's kind of all of that into one.
I wasn't a huge fan of his recent Netflix, The Tambourine. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was that funny. I don't know. That was just me, but I'll have to watch it again. Mm-hmm. But he is funny. I see we got a couple questions here. Mitch is saying on the live chat, he's asking Geron, what's the biggest misconception people have about you being a stand-up comic?
Okay, what people don't understand about being a stand-up comedian, every stand-up comedian wants to push boundaries because that's how you get to be known as a great comedian. We are not trying to piss you people off when we tell these jokes, okay? Like, no one is trying to go up on stage and change anyone's outlook on something or their viewpoint or anything of that nature. I'm not trying to convince you that white girls are full of shit when I say that white girls are full of shit. You know what I mean?
Wait a second.
It's really just a joke that I created that I try to, just give you a different outlook. The whole thing about being a comedian is about having a hot take, or just having a different perspective than most people, or just a way that you tell stories that people laugh at. You know what I mean? There's different ways people can be funny. What you have to realize is, you all being sensitive all the time does not help us be able to entertain you all at all. You know what I mean?
Camera too.
But
I was doing the
I
same
think there was
thing.
another question that they had. Have you heard about?
Performed at the Bardstown. Julia's asking.
No, I've heard of the Bardstown. There were times before where Missy, one of the promoters at the Comedy Caravan, had talked to me about the possibility of me being able to perform over there. But then again, I'm not a fan of 5-minute sets anymore. You know what I mean? I write a lot of jokes, and I think that I would love to go over there and have some great practice and whatnot. But I just think that it's very hard to write jokes. Like Kevin, if you wanted to really tell a story, like, is it gonna take only 5 minutes? And that's one joke. You know what I mean? Like, you tell one story, that's one joke, really. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's more of a understanding of like just being able to have as more of an opportunity to be able to tell a lot of jokes at once. You know what I mean? I don't want a 30-minute set each time I perform, but I just think 7 minutes or 10 minutes that just gonna intrigue me more about the possibility of me trying to perform. Like, for example, I performed at the University of Louisville for this Kappa event that they had. And they gave me and Imran. It was amazing. They gave me and Imran 15-minute sets. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it wasn't even the fact that I was getting paid for it or anything of that nature, but it was like, I have another opportunity. One, I have a different environment of people that I usually talk to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then two, it's just the fact that 15 minutes, I actually have an opportunity to tell a great amount of stories, and it's an opportunity to be able to really work on my craft. You know what I mean? I don't think 3 minutes every 3 months is enough time for me to really work on my craft.
So do you approach it from, I guess you kind of just said, but like, so you can, would you rather tell a bunch of jokes or a 7-minute story that's a really good joke?
People have to realize that any great stand-up comedian fits in a lot of punchlines within their material. If you laugh only once every 7 minutes during a set, that person's not very funny. You know what I mean? The point is, though, with a longer set, you have more freedom of writing.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, you have more freedom of writing. I don't want to just be able to tell one story and then you all laugh, because then I walked off the stage and I only got one laugh from you all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be able to fit as many punchlines into a certain time frame as possible. Mm-hmm. That's the funniest thing about Dave Chappelle, is that you watch an hour stand-up and you've laughed probably 36 times. You know what I mean? Like, you've laughed so many times. And so that's the point, is being able to fit as many punchlines and opportunities for people to laugh as possible, so that people walk away knowing that you were funny. You know what I mean? And I just think that having a 3-minute or a 5-minute set, it just only gives people sort of an idea of what you're capable of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was good for me starting off, but I think now it's like I'm at a space now where I really want to show people I can take things to a much deeper level. I can really talk about different things from a different perspective, a different standpoint, but I can't do all of that with a 3 to 5 minute set. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never known really anything much about comedy, especially in Louisville.
Stand-up comedy is hard, man. Like,
yeah, well,
you don't
obviously, you really got to put yourself like, it's easy for me to make a beat and put it out,
Yeah.
and people don't like it, whatever. But
One
you're gonna know.
One of the hardest things to do is to be a public speaker.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, like, that's one thing that everyone struggles with. You know, truthfully, like, a lot of people have a fear of speaking in front of an audience. You know what I mean? Luckily for me, I don't have very much anxiety at all, and I feel anxious only like at very rare occasions in my life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, my first few shows, I was very like relaxed until it was time for me to performing. It's like the first me walking on stage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, no, stand-up comedy is like, if you're very comfortable talking to people, if you're very comfortable just telling a story or just being able to connect with people, then I think it's something that you should definitely try. And again, people who want to do stand-up comedy, please reach out to me. I love helping people being able to get started, just being able to try to get involved. And yeah, man, comedy, it's a great thing to do. I feel like a rapper, but I don't even have to rhyme on stage. You know what I mean? And
That's
like,
a plus.
I'm getting paid the same. I don't want to say the same amount, but you mean I'm a single entertainer. I'm
$50K for a show.
I'm a single performer on stage. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I mean, if I do get successful, that's why Kevin Hart is so famous. He really gets paid rapper money. He's selling out arenas and whatnot the same way that a rapper would, but it's for stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. You like Kevin Hart?
I mean, he's all right. Well, some of his older stuff is pretty good. I think that fame has kind of tainted a lot of his material and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a very talented individual.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely is. I don't know. I just think some of his stuff sometimes is just not extra, but it's just like, I don't know, just kind of boring, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched him in a long time, but so if people reach out to you for getting in contact with for comedy, where can we find you? I got your Instagram pulled up here. It looks like at Haran Gerst.
Yeah.
Or Gerst.
Yeah, it's just and for people who don't know, my name's not Haran. It's not.
But
it's just the first letter of my first name and the first letter of my last name, and they're switched. But no, if you all are ever looking to me for me to do stand-up comedy, for me to host one of your events, or do stand-up comedy at a venue that you have, or just looking for me to help with you getting started with your stand-up comedy career, again, you can DM me on Instagram. I could probably give you my phone number. I won't say it on here just because I don't trust a lot of people. But
can't trust nobody.
Can't. But no, yeah, just reach out to me, man. I'm always open. You can just tell me what your budget is if you want me to, do something for you. If you don't have a budget, we can still talk, but don't be mad if I hang up. But yeah, no, I encourage people to reach out to me at all times.
Out of nowhere, just hang up.
I mean, we can definitely get some things going. I feel like there hasn't really been a real market or really an environment for stand-up comedy in Louisville. Like Kevin, whenever you think about a comedian from Louisville, who do you think about?
You.
Other than myself. I need about to say that. Other than myself.
I don't know any.
Exactly. And so now it's time to try to open things up. Try to open up opportunities for people to feel like stand-up comedy is an option for them.
So is that a goal of yours?
Yeah.
That's
I have a lot of goals, but especially with the fact that if I'm doing stand-up comedy, I feel like I'm trying to get somewhere from it. I want everyone else that lives with me to feel like they can, that's from my hometown, to feel like they can do the same thing as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's dope, man. Mitch got one question. He says, have you had any crazy heckler moments?
Crazy heckler moments? Yeah, when I was at that LGBT show in LA, there was a couple of I think there was a transgender Filipino woman that didn't like some of the jokes that I had about Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Well, pretty much what I was saying was in my jokes. I was talking about Hillary Clinton, and I was talking about the idea that if she tries to get reelected she tries to run for president again against
2020.
Bernie. Yeah, this year. This was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But if she tries to run again with Bernie Sanders, we have to all come together and decide to not vote for her, because she already lost to a black man and an old racist white man. So I was like, I feel like if you lost to both of those, like, you've already had your shot. Who are you going to be? Yeah. They didn't laugh at that very much at all. But, I said it very differently at the time. But other than that, heckler, I did have my friend Langston at my first comedy show screeching out.
Dude,
drunk
he was
drunk.
He was drunk. He was smashed.
He was hilarious, but he pissed me off because he made me forget one of my jokes. I was telling the joke about how I lost my phone and how I got on Facebook Market and I was trying to buy another phone, and I forgot to mention the fact that the dude who I bought the phone from on Facebook.
Tell us his name.
His name was True Finesse, you all. True Finesse.
I thought you'd be smarter than that,
and I didn't
seriously.
see that because whenever you get on Facebook Market and you buy stuff from the Facebook Market, they only show the person's first name. So I'm typing and I'm writing the guy and I'm just seeing True. Seems like an honest guy. Seems like a very honest guy.
He's got to be an honest guy.
Seems like a very honest guy.
Okay.
What does it say? Have you heard? Okay, that's the same question.
What was I gonna say? You talking about your story with the transgender? Well, okay, so the clubs in LA, what are those like?
Are
they full on comedy clubs?
Yeah, no, they definitely have plenty of comedy clubs out there. It's different. It just depends on what comedy club you go to. You know what I mean? They have some very larger ones like the Laugh Factory and whatnot that are just really clubs that, you go there, there's 100 to 200 people there for you to perform stand-up comedy in front of. And then the place that I went, that was an LGBT night, that was called the Dow Comedy Club. It was kind of close to Koreatown in Hollywood, actually. And it was fine. It was a much smaller venue. Honestly, I feel like my bedroom was bigger than the venue that was there. But it was
For real?
Yeah, no, honestly, it was not. I mean, I wouldn't say that. That was an exaggeration.
Well, so how do you feel about the more intimate settings versus like a?
I look at everything like that as practice. You know what I mean? Like it's different whenever when I can only perform for 5 minutes in my hometown.
That's a good point.
Every 2 weeks.
You might as well put as much into it.
Yeah, versus me being in LA and they say we can give you a 5 minute set. And I'm also, I'm in LA. I'm about to try to do this as well as I can.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I don't know. I try to look at everything as an open experience and as an open opportunity. But again, I try to make sure that I'm not wasting my time either. And before, I feel like that was one thing that I was doing at the Comedy Caravan. I just wasn't able to have an opportunity to really like build my character up and build up a persona for myself while just only performing as short as I was. And so, yeah, I mean, anyone who feels they're not able to have the opportunities that they want, I mean, just try to create opportunities for yourself, truthfully.
That's something I want to speak about. What you said, wasting. You don't want to waste your time.
So, how do you structure your sets?
Yeah, let me say this. Real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
People, I would say the biggest thing is you got to know your value and know your worth, especially in your craft. Like, I mean, I've always been the type, when I was like growing up, man, I was super, probably like, from what I can remember at least, like just kind of like, oh, if somebody told me to do something, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll do it right now. But now I'm like, especially as an intern at a studio and like, where I like, what am I trying to say? Having been an intern, I get told, and I'm not getting paid. I get told to do stuff that I don't want to do a lot. Now, of course, I do it, especially this recent internship I've had at Downtown Recording. I mean, I'm going to do that because, first of all, the owner there really likes me, and he's got me some good opportunities. But I'm not getting paid, and you have to prove yourself, especially as an intern, especially in a studio, in a recording studio in the music business.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay dues.
You gotta pay dues, but you do have to know your value. And sometimes I'll think and I'll be like, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell the owner or whoever I'm working for. And then one time I had interned at a studio in Nashville, and I went back there for a day, and I walked in, and as soon as I walked in, this lady, she's an amazing mastering engineer, super dope. Now, granted, this studio is a very, very high profile. Some legendary mixing engineers and mastering engineers work there, and so if they ask me to do something, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna help them out. But it was just like, as soon as I walked in, she was like, hey, I've got something for you to do, and I was like, I'm not even here on an intern basis. I'm just here to. I was helping move. Now I was helping the mixing engineer move one of his consoles, but it ended up not even being at the studio. It was at his warehouse. But anyways, nothing came of that situation. I was just like, okay, but I'm only gonna be here for like 5 minutes. But know your value, know your worth, and don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. Because if it's somebody that's got experience over you that you're speaking to and speaking with, they'll understand that for the most part. And if they don't, then just tell them, be like, well, I'm sorry, That's been my experience.
I'm going to answer some of these questions.
Yeah,
right
go
here.
ahead.
It says, Geron, where do you find most of your inspiration for stand-up? Most of my inspiration comes from a lot of my life experiences and whatnot. Since I've been trying to work towards a more introspective stand-up comedy and whatnot, it comes from a lot of different philosophical ideas that I think about all the time. Important ideas that I want to get across to other people and whatnot, and I try to do that, and I try to mix different examples or different scenarios that happen in my life to people around me that I know of that can help really display or manifest that idea that I have within that philosophy that I thought about. You know what I mean? Like the idea of coming together, the idea of just breaking down racism or things of that nature. You never know. You know what I mean? But my stand-up comedy, a lot of the times, it really comes from my own personal experiences and the things that happen in my life. Is because I do think I live a very eventful life, and I feel like whenever I tell people a lot of things that happen in my life, they look at it as if it's not even real. You would not even have thought that you would ever go on the Facebook market and get scammed by somebody named True Finesse.
That's such a juxtaposition of names.
That's such a blockbuster. What is that? And it says also, do you plan to structure your sets?
How do you plan to structure your sets?
Oh, how do I plan? Okay. So the first set that I had, I had it very planned out and structured out. And the second set, I didn't plan anything at all. And the first set went a lot better than the second. The only reason why I did the second set was that I had never yet done improv stand-up comedy on stage. You know what I mean? And I was wanting to see there's different ways that you can write stand-up comedy and whatnot. The same way there's different ways that you can paint, the same way that you can write music. You know what I mean? Or perform music. And so I want to see, like, Geron, how are you whenever you are just being your most raw self on stage, saying jokes that just come to your mind. You know what I mean? And I think it went well. I just think that I've understood now that it is important to make sure you structure out how you do things and make sure, like, every stand-up comedian knows the importance of having a good joke to start with and a good joke to end with as well. You know what I mean? Like, that's not as capable whenever you're doing improv and whatnot. And so how I structure all of my sets now is that each joke starts off with a premise. A premise is just the overall subject, and you have a setup that comes after that. That's how you just set up the joke, how you start off the joke, or how you transition into the joke. And then you have a punchline, you know what I mean? And after the punchline, you might have an additional punchline, so it's a tap, and then you might have a transition that goes after that, you know what I mean? And so that's how I like to structure out a lot of my things. What I do is I try to get as many premises as I can, and then sometimes I don't even start my jokes with all the premises. Sometimes I have a punchline, and then I'm okay, Geron, you need to work on a setup that like works with this punchline. You know what I mean? And then from that you can develop a premise. And so there's different ways that you can write your jokes out, but I try to make sure that I write out all of my jokes, and after I have all of my jokes written out with the setup and punchline and premise, I try to order them in a fashion where it's like, okay, I can do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This actually has 2 jokes, but I'm gonna take one of them and I'm gonna use it for the end. And it's gonna be funny because of the same punchline as the first joke before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just about understanding how it is that you want to start, how it is that you want to finish, and then I leave a little bit of empty space for myself as well in case I have a heckle that I have to flame up real quick or something of that nature. You know what I mean? But yeah, the great question.
So leaving some space for like a heckler or like just kind of like some improv.
I
Maybe?
like leaving space because luckily for me, at a lot of my shows, the promoter doesn't mind me going over a couple of minutes. Certain times where I was supposed to perform 30 minutes and I perform like 48. You know what I mean? But no, I just like it because I like to give myself time to breathe. Like if I write out a set where it's like I practice it and it's 30 minutes exactly, I want to have myself have at least 5 additional minutes because I want a time to breathe on stage. I want a time to where if I tell a joke and it really hits, we all literally laugh together for a second. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'll run around or whatever happens. You know what I mean? I want an opportunity just to feel like very myself on stage. You know what I mean? To feel very comfortable.
Yeah. Cool. That's interesting. So when your next show, you lining up your next shows already?
I mean, honestly, as soon as quarantine is over, as soon as Z-Bar opens back up, guys, it's going to be like, if Z-Bar would have opened up tomorrow, I would definitely be talking to my promoter about having a show on Monday. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just about whenever
You should talk to the promoter now anyway.
No, for sure. And I'm already in conversation with her as well. It's just the understanding of when the place opens up. Truthfully, if I were to give you all a direct time, I would say late June, early July, we should be having some of our first shows open back up. Realistically, I think.
I could see that.
Yeah, I would definitely think like for some of the first weeks of July for sure, we would have some of our shows opening back up. And then from there too, I've had other comedy caravan. I mean, not comedy caravans. Other comedy venues and whatnot reach out to me because they heard about the success that we was having at Z-Bar and talk to me about
What venues here in Louisville?
Yeah, I just had a few of them here, and they talked to me about the idea of me having my own shows at some of their venues as well, just because they see some of the response that we get and they like it. And also for you all to go to U of L and whatnot, I feel like I should be having some shows there very soon as well. I know there's different fraternities that have reached out to me as well about trying to have some shows there as well. I think your IG Live is saying that we only have 1 minute and 35 left that we can be on here. I think
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it's the only let you shoot for an hour.
No,
so.
what it is it's for real?
Yeah,
that might be. Is it my live screen recording?
Our elapsed time now is at like 59 minutes, I think.
Yeah, we've been recording on. Well, that's the thing. If we'd been on Zoom, we can only do the free version, which I have. It only allows you to do 40 minutes with 2 people. So we'd have been done by now. But whatever, we'll just let that run out. But Julia, Avery, and everybody in the live chat. I saw Jacqueline get in there. Alex, I really appreciate y'all getting in there. I'm gonna shout y'all out on.
Hey, love you guys.
Yeah, thank
by
you for
all
the
means,
questions.
look at some of my posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
Look at some of Kevin's beats on YouTube
And my SoundCloud stuff.
Absolutely.
My link is in my Instagram bio, I think. If not, I'll put it in. Yo, Kinslow, what's up? You know Kinslow, Geron?
I think so.
Any of y'all? He's an artist here in Louisville. We had some difficulties working together just because of the quarantine, but he's dope, man. I'm gonna get you on here soon, Kinslow. He's a dope guy. Appreciate you all y'all checking in, tuning in. We got 30. I'm gonna stay on YouTube, so y'all get on my YouTube.
Oh, great to hear from you too, buddy.
Jump in the live stream. We got a couple people here in the live stream, in the YouTube, in the live chat asking questions. So if you trying to hop, my Instagram about to run out, but we're gonna probably still go for a few more minutes, and then this video will be up on the Lush Louisville YouTube page sometime tonight. So I appreciate y'all. All love, really appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe. You might as well go ahead and end that out, Kevin. I think that mug's gonna stop here in about 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, sir. Yeah, you might as well just go and share the IGTV.
Next.
Wait, go back. Just 'cause you want to pick a nice cover for it. I don't think that's the right one.
Hold on, here, back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right up on the mic.
Wait a second.
We gotta. Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like you could pick a nice cover for
Hold
it.
up. Look at that goal in the background. We should have shot free throws or something. Hold up. Don't mind us. We're just picking a good background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Promotion. There was one. You had your hand on your chin. Oh, fire. All right, that's good enough. Oh my God. Here, you do this. Make it creative. Guys, yeah, we're gonna probably go for a few more minutes, just kind of wrapping things up. And one more thing that I did want to ask you, Geron, was the artistic scene in Louisville, whether it's music, comedy, drama, dance, or anything like. What's your take on it all?
I think Louisville is getting to a significant space right now where we're really starting to open things up for ourselves. I think that the 502 come up is real at this point.
Absolutely.
I think that Bryson Tiller opened up a lot of different avenues for ourselves. I think Jack did a lot as well.
Absolutely.
And so I think that now that people will have an understanding that's it's really up to me. It really is possible to make it out. You know what I mean? And I think now a lot of people more so now than ever have been inspired to really try to work on something that they're passionate about. And I encourage people to do the same. And yeah, I love all of it, man. I think we have a lot of I think that here very soon, people are going to see very, very, very soon that what we're capable of. You know, we're going to really.
I mean, they already are for sure. Louisville is super slept on creatively and artistically, really. I just think like, so you think like the come up and getting out. You think it's smart to get out of Louisville?
I mean, I think it is necessary at some point because if you're trying to expand onto a global or national level,
the business here is just not.
It's just, I mean, like for example, with stand-up comedy, you know what I mean. I can't expect to really become a famous comedian staying in Louisville the entire time. You know
what
I mean?
if you were a famous comedian in Louisville though?
I mean, I think that's fine, but I think that as far as a national skill, I think that I could be the most famous. I could be King Dingaling in Louisville. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'm going to become a famous person nationwide.
That's
you know
your
what
rap name.
And but that's just for the simple fact that Louisville is not that large of a city. It's not that large of a platform. It's very different from being successful in New York City or being successful in Detroit or being successful in LA than versus being successful in Kentucky. You know what I mean? So I think now that I think that everyone has should have a great understanding of when it is that you need to expand or get to the next step. Like for example, Jack, 2K Baby Sage, they had to understand that at some point I have to leave in order to really expand and do what it is that I want to do. Jack didn't want to just be famous in Kentucky. He wants to be famous nationwide, globally, or even globally. So it's like, I can't expect to do that in Kentucky, not in a place where most of the people here don't even listen to rap music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of the people here don't even have comedy clubs that they can go to. I mean, in Kentucky in general, not a lot of people listen to it. This is a country state. People you got to think about southeast Kentucky, parts of Kentucky outside of Lexington and Louisville. You know what I mean? There's definitely not really
Lexington's
a market.
pretty country.
Yeah, there's not even.
Honest.
Yeah, exactly. There's not even that much of a market here for it. And so, yeah, man, I just encourage people to just figure out what it is that you want to do, and if Louisville's holding you back, man, go. Because for me, really, it's a matter of just as soon as things get better for me financially, it'll be a lot easier for me to be able to try to make those certain moves. You know what I mean? But that is my next step at some point to try to make sure that I expand. Is to just get out of Louisville.
Get out of Louisville, yeah. Yeah, my plan kind of right now is I'm gonna stack up some money and either move probably back to somewhere close to Nashville or go to Atlanta. To be honest, like. When quarantine's over sometime soon, within the next 2 months, I'm taking a trip down to Atlanta, and I'm just gonna kind of. I don't really know what the living situation is like in terms of rent, but I know near the city it can be expensive. But anyways, that's my goal because I can't live with my parents forever. So.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely trying to go to New York sometime soon. Not to live out there. Well, actually, I have thought about living out in New York, but I want to go out there to try to start doing some stand-up comedy at a lot of their different venues, just because. I think that New York is a great place for like as far as like marketability and like just like different opportunities as far as stand-up comedy. New York is probably the best place to be for a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? So I want to go out there and just like have some time to be able to go and work on my craft. You know what I mean? I know I will have no problem at all being able to find shows out there just because like they have plenty of places where it's like it's for people who want to be comedians, it's for established comedians already, it's for famous comedians. You know what I mean? So like I would just have to be able to get in where I fit in there and like work on my craft. You know what I mean? But for me, I want to either try to go out there or like try to go out to Los Angeles and have an opportunity to work out there. I've also thought about trying to move to Detroit or Houston or Baltimore, places that are a little bit more predominantly black, so I can see I have an opportunity to still expand amongst my people first. You know what I mean? And like create a platform for myself with that. I think that's important, especially if I'm going to places of that nature, because that's easier for me as far as creating my own opportunities. While New York and LA are better for me as far as taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to me. You know what I mean? The opportunities that I create for myself. But it's like for me, I want to. Yeah, if I were to go to Detroit or Baltimore, it'd be more so of me being able to really like create my own platform versus me trying to build a platform off of the opportunities that other people give me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And another thing is I don't want to put myself in a box like, oh, I'm going to go to LA, New York, Nashville, or Atlanta. It's like maybe I'm going to go someplace else.
You might go to Atlanta for 2 years and then decide you want to move. You know what I mean? Like that's how I see it too. You know.
Maybe I'll go to Canada.
Okay, I probably won't go there, but
that'd be lit.
Yeah, it's just all about what it is that you feel like. You have to just be ever changing and ever adaptable. You know what I mean? Like
just like take it as it comes, man. Like,
and don't get too comfortable.
Especially nowadays, like I've just realized like me getting older and understanding a lot more things. It's like I think about like just like how quickly time has moved, man. We talk about high school was like
Kevin
9 years ago.
Just a few years ago, you were 23 and you were a freshman in high school. You remember that?
I was 23.
Because you were the oldest person that was in the class. This man Kevin was driving his freshman year of high school, driving to school.
I was not 23 in freshman year. I did turn 16 though.
He's had that facial hair since freshman year. He was 16 his freshman year.
Yeah, I was driving in freshman year though, but.
Well, yeah, no, time is definitely moving by fast.
It's kind of as you get.
Fast. And I think that now, I think it's good now though because now we're at the age where people now realize the importance of doing something. You know what I mean? Like people are not trying to be lazy anymore. People realize now like being cool was fun in high school. Now it's like either you're broke or you're not.
Yeah,
you know
even after college, it's like wow, I really got to grind.
Yeah, it's like
I started realizing that through college. I was like, man, all right, that's why I started making as many connections.
Yeah.
Make
it's
connections
like now we're
at
the age where
man.
people are starting to realize like either I'm going to be successful or I'm going to be poor. Like, or I'm going to meet somewhere in the middle. But it's like now it's really up to you. We're at the age now where we can't use our parents as an excuse how we used to be before. You know what I mean? Like when you grow up and you're a poor kid, it's like, okay, when my parents are poor, there's not much I can do about that. Now it's up to you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, like now I encourage people to really just try to get on their shit and really just find something they're passionate about and go towards it.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say, guys, is make connections every day. Especially right now, just through social media, where you've got the downtime, and I mean every day on social media. But like right now, social media has grown more than ever, connecting people.
Truly,
and,
that was something that Urban had told me too. Is the fact that like now we really have, if you want to have 300 million followers on Instagram, it's really up to you. You know what I mean? I mean, it's up to people that follow you, but it's really about you having a platform. To like everyone has the same platform that you have. You know what I mean? Everyone does. Like everyone has an Instagram or has a Facebook and whatnot. And there's some people that are doing more with that than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you have to look at it as an opportunity where it's like there's always something more that I could be doing to help boast myself or improve myself or just give people something that they want to see more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if there's any. I was gonna ask you one more question about. Well, do you have any? Okay, I was gonna say, a starving comic in Louisville. What do they do first? They have a small following on social media, and they're looking. They're trying to do their first show.
Okay,
So
what I encourage is one, work on your craft. Write as much jokes as you possibly can. Really study a lot of comedians. You have to look online and do research about like the difference between a good comedian and a bad one. Do different research about what type of comedy you want to do, what type of person you want to be while you're on stage. You know what I mean? Also, I encourage you to network as much as possible. Who you know is very important. If I did not know If I did not know my friend Domdi, and I did not hosted his show, I would not have met Jake, who's a promoter at Z-Bar, and I would not have the shows that I have right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about me knowing people. It's about you being able to connect with people. You have to be kind to everybody, and so like make sure that like you have to be a social strategist in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? You have to create opportunities for yourself with the people that you know. You know what I mean? And then from that, man, I just encourage you, pay your dues. You know what I mean? Do those 3-minute, those 5-minute sets, and you see if comedy is even something you want to continue with. Some people think they're funny and they're not that funny. You know what I mean? Like, do it and take the heat that comes with it. See how well you do with it. You know what I mean? And then from there, just work on how can I get to the next step? How can I expand? How can I do what it is that I need to do to where I feel like I'm in a space where I can succeed with this as much as I possibly want to. You know what I mean? It's really up to you. But yeah, that's what I encourage everyone to do. Just go out there and just get a detailed plan of what it is that you need to do to get to the next step, and just keep grinding. Put in all that work and effort that you need to.
Yeah. Man, one thing that this producer, Illmind, was saying once is he said that, if you, relating it to music, because he's a producer, he was like, if I'm spending all my time doing music, eventually the universe is going to, respond to that. Like you put it, basically saying put in the work and,
In order to put in 10,000 hours, you have to do 8 hours a day for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And so you have to think about it like this. If anything you pick up, like you with music, Kevin, like how long have you been working on music?
I mean, I've been making beats for 4 years.
For 4, you know what I mean? But it probably hasn't been
Not
8
9
hours.
hours a day,
But
no.
the whole point is now you have an understanding of to truly master something, it takes 10,000 hours.
Right.
And now that you have an understanding of that, you also, okay, I'm definitely not where I need to be yet, but I'm still on a great path to getting there. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
But it just takes you understanding that you do have to apply more pressure or it's not your time yet. You know what I mean?
Rounding it back out to what we were talking about earlier. That's
You do
smooth.
have to apply
Nice.
more pressure or it's not your time yet.
Exactly. And what do you think about overnight successes? Is that a thing or no?
I mean, people say that they had an overnight success, but truthfully,
It's-
how many people have really
Exactly.
just made one
it's
song?
a perception thing.
One song ever. Like, how many people have made one song? Like, I want to hop in the studio. I made one song, and it was a Billboard Hot 100, and I'm just rich. Not many people. Not even Lil Nas X or anything. He had music that he was working on prior to that.
Yeah.
It takes you getting to a space where how do you improve? How do you get to the next level? And some people get there faster than what people might have thought they should. Or anything. Like even the baby was not an overnight success. If you look back, DaBaby had plenty of mixtapes where his music was trash. Was trash.
I mean,
But it
most
takes
people's is when they start. Not everybody.
Yeah, but it takes him growing and understanding how it is that he was actually ever changing and ever adaptable too. If you look at his music from before, he changed his music a lot. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that not a lot of people are comfortable doing because they get caught in this comfortable space of, I mean, this is decent right now. I don't want to change. You know what I mean? Like you have to learn to be ever changing and ever adaptable. And so that's that overnight success shit. It doesn't work unless you're able to that doesn't even honestly always happen. You know what I mean? Like that happens so much earlier than what we think. Like people only think they see what really happened. Like people see Jack's what's popping, but they don't see Handsome Harlow or 18 or Gazebo or Confetti or they don't see all of that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing because not a lot of people knew
They don't
him
even,
like they
yeah.
knew him now. So
They
they're
don't
just
see
like,
the-
oh, exactly.
They don't see the
They
YouTube
don't
freestyles that he put up before, or
Yeah.
all the times that he was at school. They don't see any of that. You know what I mean? But all of that goes into play whenever you're talking about. And some people really might look at Jack right now as an overnight success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's not the case at all. It takes hella time, hella effort, and how can I get to the next step? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Man, well, Geron, it has been a pleasure.
Kevin?
Your debut show, man. Again, guys, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Mostly this will be, starting out is going to be, except for today, of course, will be supposed to be over Zoom or FaceTime. I'll have people call in and then you'll be seeing their screen up there too. But I'm having technical difficulties with Zoom. So we'll hopefully get it figured out next week. I'm working on my next guest for next week. It should be, let's see, what's next Saturday. The podcast should be the same time next Saturday. I'll let you know within the week. I'll post some pictures of who my next guest is. And for everybody that was in the live, the Instagram live, I appreciate you. And in the live chat, Julia and Mitch, I really appreciate y'all following the live stream on YouTube. That means a lot for real. Mm-hmm. This video will be on the Lush Louisville YouTube tonight. And then by next week, hopefully I was having an issue with the Lush Louisville YouTube getting verified to stream. It says it takes 24 hours. I did it 3 days ago and it's still not letting me. So hopefully next week we'll be streaming from the Lush Louisville YouTube page. But I appreciate y'all tuning in and sticking it out with me. And again, this is a podcast to tap in with different creatives all over Louisville. Some that I know and some that I'm building connections with. So we'll see. I'm thinking about, I've got a little connection with Russ Smith, trying to bring him on here. John Woo, I don't know, he's a legendary producer in Louisville, and a few others too. But yeah, so just stay tuned. And again, I really appreciate y'all. This is the debut show.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to you, Geron. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get you a file of you, and I'm gonna put that on the sound pad. And
Yes,
anytime there's a
Sarsky.
gym, I'm just gonna Sarsky. Yes, Sarsky. But all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe and tune in next week.